Hey, it's me, ProJared, and welcome back to Magic the Gathering Online. This is match number 2 in Battle for the Plains as I go with my Dominaria deck, which I'm super excited. Once again, I lose the die roll because I always do, and my opening hand is awful. There's no mana in here. I can't keep this. Alright, so mulligan. Oh, this is good though. 4 mana, got a 2-turn play with a Revered Dead that I can regenerate to help keep alive to protect me. And I've got that Tribal Golem, which I haven't gotten to use yet. Looking at my Scries, the Stormfront Riders, I'm gonna put that at the bottom. Alright, here we go. Ooh, nice. Drew into a Merchant of Secrets. It's helped me draw into more cards. Alright, he plays the Arcbound Sith. So looks like this dude is playing a, what is this, Mirrodin deck? I believe that's Mirrodin. Someone's got to fact check that for me. He plays the Arcbound Slith, which is a 1/1 artifact creature, but when it dies and gives another creature a +1/+1 counter, so it's a lot of value right there. But I've got a regenerator. What's up? How dare you? Oh, he did. Well, I'd rather him not get a +1/+1 counter on something and make it a bigger threat, so I'm gonna trade out now, just so that he doesn't have that anymore. Just kidding. He gave it Untamed Might, giving him +1/+1 till end of turn, killing my regenerator. So I'm not off to a great start. Or am I? We'll play that Merchant of Secrets, get a 1/1 onto the field and draw a card. Ooh, drew into a mana, which is exactly what I wanted. More importantly, I've got a human wizard ready for the Tribal Golem. And also in my hand I have his Echo Tracer, who I can morph to bounce a creature back to his hand. And he plays the Mycosynth Wellspring. When Mycosynth Wellspring enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard, he gets to search a basic land card and put it into his hand. So basically paid 2 mana to get himself another land. He managed to get himself a mountain, which means he probably has a few mountains in there. He's looking for has very specific red cards, probably removal. And then he plays the Auric Blade Warden, which is a 1/1 creature, but can give a target creature +1/+X equals to his power. So if that thing gets bigger, he can make other things even bigger. I'm up to 4 mana now, so I'm going to morph down that Echo Tracer. My goal is to morph him up for 3, and then bounce something back to his hand. That's my plan. And then he plays the Chimeric Egg. This one's a bit scarier. So anytime I cast a non-artifact spell, he gets a charge counter. And anytime he can remove 3 of those charge counters to make it into a 6/6 trample creature until end of turn. So if I keep playing non-artifacts, he's just gonna keep getting a 6/6. And then he plays the Sphere of Suns, which is basically a artifact that comes with 3 counters, and he can tap to give those remove a counter to give himself mana. So it's another mana source is what he gives himself here, which isn't as threatening. All right, I'm gonna go up to 5 mana. And then I'm a little scared, so I'm gonna play Rush of Knowledge just to draw some cards. It does put a counter on Chimeric Egg, so he's got 1 on there. But it did let me draw 3. Which is actually some really good draws. We got those Dragon Scales to give a creature +1/+2 in Vigilance. We got Snapback, which allows me to return a creature to its owner's hand. And more importantly, I got my 6th mana, allowing me to play that Tribal Golem. He's coming, baby! We finally got to play it! The one card I always wanted to do. And since it was an artifact card, it doesn't count towards Chimeric Egg. And I've got a wizard in play thanks to the Merchant of Secrets, so he is a 4/4 flying right now. Feel great about that. So right into his turn, he doesn't really do much of anything. He just goes right straight to the end. Ooh. The Lumithread Field? Got a couple more fun things, so I'm gonna play Dragon Scales on Tribal Golem. So now he's a 5/6 flying Vigilance. Now if I play any more non-artifact spells, Chimeric Egg will come online. So I'm just gonna hit him with that flying Tribal Golem. And put him on a 3-turn counter right now. So I'm gonna be hitting him for 5 every turn. In fact, he must know there's nothing he can do about it because he's already conceded 5/6 flying Vigilance. Couldn't do anything about it. He already concedes match 1. That's so fast. So fast. We'll see how things go in match 2, or game 2, sorry. I was certainly not expecting him to concede that quickly. In my opening hand here for game 2, I got 1 land. A lot of low-cost cards, though. And I'm on the draw, so I'm actually going to keep this hand. This is a risky keep. This is a very risky keep. I like the fact that I have a lot of low-cost stuff in here, so even just drawing 1 land allows me to play 3 cards in my hand right now. And if I get a 3rd land, then my entire hand is playable. So it was a risky keep, but I felt a little bit better on it because I was on the draw. And boom, got my 2nd land. Unfortunately, it's off color, and I need planes to cast anything right now, so all I can really do at the moment is attack with my Image Crafter Wizard. That'll show him. And then I drew a Riptide Director, and I'm in trouble. Miss a land drop on turn 3. I have nothing else I can play, so I can swing for 1 and pass back. Not exciting, but what else do I do here? So he's up to 4 mana. I drew another white cast card. Swing for 1, pass back, but my hand's too big. I have to discard 1. Oh, that's not great. So we'll do the Dragon Scales, because if I play one of my bigger creatures, Dragon Scales can just come back onto him. So I'm fine with that. He plays 5 to play the Titanium Golem. A 3/3 that you can pay 2 to get first strike on the turn, which is very threatening. My next draw was Rush of Knowledge, not a land. So once again, I need to discard again. And it's going to be that Rush of Knowledge. With it being as expensive as it is, I just need low-cost cards right now. He plays the Mycosynth Spring, finds himself a land, plays that land, which was a forest. So he's got all 3 of his colors up and online. Attacks the Titanium Golem. I could block here, but he's got the mana to make it first strike. Not that it matters, he's bigger than me, so I'm just gonna take the 3. And the Draining Whelk. Yes, awesome card, but it costs 6. I have 2. Oh, this is not good. Time to discard again. Bye, Riptide. What's your last name? Director? There it is. He once again attacks. Not much I can do about it. He plays the Flare Husk, which is a living weapon. So it comes in as a 1/1 creature, but he can still equip it. And then I drew Crowd Favorites. All my big cost cards are coming in now. These aren't lands. What's happening? Oh, I had to get rid of the Draining Whelk. Oh, that's so rough. That's so rough. Yep. It came in attacked with both, so I just blocked the Flare Husk. You can still equip it afterwards onto his Titanium Golem, which he does. A Plains! 3 mana! Oh my gosh! What do I do with 3 mana? Not a lot. I can play the Revered Dead, because at least he's a regenerator. Oh, just kidding. He casts Volt Charge, dealing it 3 damage. So, I am out of a blocker. That's not good. Brings me down to 7. He plays that Auriok Blade Warden again, moves a Flare Husk over onto it, because now he can tap Auriok Blade Warden to give Titanium Golem +2/+2 till end of turn. It's just a good play. I'm up to 4 mana though. They're starting to show up. I'll morph this guy. My thought is maybe I can flip him back by unmorphing it and buy myself some more time. He attacks with both. Should I block? Is it worth it? Oh, what's he doing? I chose not to block because, oh, Untamed Might, +6/+6 till end of turn. That's a 9/9. That is very dead. Ugh! Not great! That sucked. I can't believe I did not get to draw any land. What was my next card? I don't know. This doesn't work in replays. But, oh, that was not good. Well, hopefully game 3 is gonna go better for me. Okay, game 3, opening hand. Actually not bad. 4 mana, both colors. Got turn 1, 2, 3. I like this. I'm gonna keep. I will definitely keep. He keeps as well. So hopefully this one goes better for me. Let's start off with that plated sliver. Good old slivers. Start off with a 1/2. Also got Dragon Wings, so I can make him flying if I wanted to. He plays that Flare Husk, So he's got that living weapon right now, which is currently a 1-1. But my 1-2 is slightly better. I'll attack the sliver. I got more toughness than him. What are you gonna do about it? Takes the 1, like the chump he is. And then I'm actually gonna cast my Illumithread field, because that's gonna be a little bit more useful than a flying 1-3 or 1-2 sliver. So now all my creatures get +0/+1. So I got a little extra toughness on all my dudes. So having a 1-3 out already, it feels very welcoming. Now that I got 3 mana down, I can play that Merchant of Secrets, draw a card, get that snapback. And since I have another defender, I can attack for 1 again. Super exciting. I've also got Piety Charm ready to go in case he does any kind of crazy auras or anything on his turn. He does play the Whisper Silk Cloak, which when equipped to a creature, it makes it so he can't be blocked, and he has Shroud, so he can't be the target of spells or abilities at all. My next draw is the Dragon Scales, which, great enchantment. I don't exactly have the best targets to use that on right now. In fact, I'm lacking creatures over in general. Well, I'm gonna go in for 2 and try to speed up the damage a little bit, since he's always only cracking back for 1 right now. Plays that Sphere of the Suns, the Mana Charger. Attacks for 1. And then more importantly, misses his land drop. So he's only got the 3 lands right now, but he's got the Sphere of the Sun to make up for it. And I've got 5 lands. Exciting game, I know. We're just going back and forth with little babies. So I'll hit him for 2. That'll show him. Until he spends all of his mana to play the Loxodon Partisan, a 3/4 that whenever he attacks can give all other attacking creatures +1/+0 till end of turn. Well, that's no joke. That is a 3/4, so I am going to spend 2 mana, cast Snapback, and return him to his hand. Not crazy exciting, but at least buys me some time. And I just drew into the Stormfront Riders, which is perfect because I got the best kind of creatures to bring back to my hand. Cheap ones. So I'm going to cast Stormfront Riders right away. I probably should have attacked with them first, but I was too excited. Bring them back to my hand, and which allows me to get 2 1/2 soldiers. So now I've got a 4/4 flyer, 2 1/2 soldiers, and I can play my cheap creatures again, like the Merchant of Secrets, allow me to draw another card. Just sick combos and synergy happening right here, folks. He brings back the Loxodon Partisan. That's not going to stop my flying, and I got plenty of blockers I can play, especially with how cheap my hand is right now. So the first thing I'm going to do, play that Merchant of Secrets, just draw that card, so maybe I'll get something exciting. It's Echo Tracer. Not crazy exciting. But no, it's even better. Making that Stormfront Riders 5/6 flying vigilance, thanks to the Dragon Scales enchantment on him. So now I can safely attack him in the sky for 5. And block anything else he's got coming in at the bottom. And I'll throw down the Plated Sliver as well. That's another chump blocker. Now last time he didn't have an answer for flying. This time he puts the Whisper Silk Cloak on his Loxodon Partisan, which makes it so he can't be blocked, but then he doesn't attack, because he can only go in for 3. I'm just going to keep my aggression in. I'm actually going to attack with every single thing I have, because he's only got 2 creatures, and I got 5 in the air, 4 in the ground. I do have a plan. Just check this out. So my idea here is if he blocks any of the ground things, I can cast Piety Charm and give any one of my soldiers +2/+2 to the end of turn, whether it's the Stormfront Riders or the soldiers on the field. That was my idea, but then he casts Dispense Justice, which makes it so I have to sacrifice an attacking creature. Or, thanks to Metalcraft, because he's got enough artifacts in play, I have to sacrifice 2 attacking creatures. Well, poop. Bye, soldiers. So my plan to instantly kill him this turn didn't quite work out. But you know what? I'm still doing 5 in the air. I still got Vigilance. I'm still feeling pretty confident. I'm gonna morph down the Echo Tracer. So if I morph him up, I can bring Loxodon Partisan back to his hand. and then just really confirm that he's got nothing left. And he does have nothing left, because this right here is when he concedes, and I did it! I won game 3, making me the overall winner of match number 2. Tight! Let's actually go into the final match right now. I'm 2-0. There's 3 total games. I'm already 2-0. I'm so elated at this point. I did not think I was going to do this well. I didn't understand the cards. They were confusing. I didn't recognize a lot of them. I didn't feel confident at all. I can't believe this is going this well. Let's go over to match 3. Here we go. The final match of the Battle of the Plains. And this is versus Caleb D. If you guys follow Magic the Gathering streamers at all, Caleb D is actually an extremely well-known, extremely well-established Magic the Gathering streamer, and I happened to get paired up against him, which was really intimidating to see, because I actually have watched the streams before, really enjoy them, knows a lot about Magic, so I do want to give a shout out to Caleb D. If you want to see a really cool Magic streamer, go to twitch.tv/CalebDMTG. Very cool guy, very chill. Great stream, so it was an honor to play him. Caleb, if you're watching this, dude, this was great. I was very honored. Alright, so my opening hand. Looking pretty solid. Got that Draining Whelk ready to go for the late game. 3 mana ready to go. A turn 1, turn 2 control, and some Dragon Wings. So I'm going to keep this and start hopefully draw into some better creatures here. But at the very least, I can drop that Image Crafter. And I got 4 mana ready to go in my hand. So he's got green and blue. Don't know anything else about his deck yet because he hasn't played anything. Can't do a whole lot of exciting things here, so I'm going to slap him for 1. He then drops a Mountain going 3 color. He starts tapping them down to play Eldrazi Sky Spawner. So he's playing a Zendikar deck. So he's got a 2/1 flying that when it comes into play makes a 1/1 creature that you can sacrifice for a colorless mana. So he's got himself a little bit of a mana ramp right there. And of course, because of that, it's not worth me attacking, so I'm going to have to chill back here for a second. I did get a good draw, though, with the Riptide Director. And he plays the Halimar Depths, which enters the battlefield tapped, but he gets to look at the top 3 cards of his library, rearrange them, and put them back. Giving him, setting up his next few turns as ideally as possible. He attacks with all 3. That's 2 in the air. I could block Eldrazi Scion and slow his mana a little bit, but I'd rather keep him in play because I want that wizard for the Riptide Director. Even better, I can spend 2 mana. What did I do here? What did I do there? I'm sorry. I think I cycled Dragon Wings. I completely forgot that I'm cycling. Which allowed me to draw into Merchant of Secrets. So I've got 4 mana. And I'll play Riptide Director, because boom! Now I've got 2 wizards in play, so I can play 4 to draw 2 cards. And with Merchant of Secrets, I'll make it 3. I'm gonna hit him back for 1. Ha! I mean, it's not much of a play, but it's still a play. Back to Caleb's turn. Taps down all 5 to play Enclave Elite. And he used the multi-kicker once. So now he's got himself a 3/3 island walking creature, which sucks a lot. Since I have an island, it means I can't block him at all, giving him guaranteed damage every turn, and there's nothing I can do about it. Plus he's got 2/1 flyer. So right now, as it currently stands, he has 5 guaranteed damage on me each turn. So I'm on a 3-turn counter right now, unless I make something happen. Which I can. So I'm going to play a land, play the Merchant of Secrets, allow me to draw an additional card. I draw the Revered Dead, which I am not going to cast anything else right now because I do have a plan. I've got 5 mana on the field and a 6th land in my hand. I've got the perfect idea, and I'm hoping this works out for me. He plays the Boulder Salvo, dealing 4 damage to my Riptide Director. There's nothing I can do about it. He doesn't want me drawing cards. He saw what was happening there and shuts that down. And comes in very aggressive here. And this seems like the perfect time to spring my trap. I'm going to pay 2 mana to cast Snapback and return his Enclave back to his hand, stopping at least 3 of the damage. And then I'll chump block his Eldrazi Scion because Merchant of Secrets, he did his job. So I've only taken 2, and I got rid of a mana on his side of the field. So I'm going to play my land. I'm going to swing back for 1 since I can't stop his Sky Spawner. And I'll keep my 6 mana up for one reason only. I am anticipating him to play his Enclave again. After he hits me for 2, of course. Which I'll just take because I have no response. Hopefully, I see a lot of mana go down. Yes, yes, oh yes, waste all that mana. Boom, does it. Enclave Elite, but this time multi-kicked it twice, so it's going to come in as a 4/4 island walking creature. And that's when I spring the Draining Whelk, spending 6 mana, which counters the Enclave. Also triggers Dragon Wings, so I could bring Dragon Wings back from my graveyard and putting onto the Draining Whelk. But the Draining Whelk's already flying, so I'm not going to do that. But it counters his Enclave, gets rid of his Island Walker, and gives myself a 4/4 flying. This just completely turned the field. His Sky Spawner no longer gets in free damage. I can deal even more damage back to him. Even better, I got Dragon Scales. So now it's a 5/6 Vigilant Draining Whelk. So yeah, I am going to go in and swing for 6. And with my last 2 mana, I will play the Revered Dead. So now control of the board is absolutely in my favor. Until Caleb D plays Narcolepsy, which makes it so that my creature taps at the beginning of each upkeep. And then he plays the Horizon Drake, so he gets a 3/1 protector as well. With protection from lands, which is interesting. Now at the end of my turn, so even though he felt really good about that Narcolepsy, I'm going to cast Piety Charm and use its first option to destroy that Narcolepsy and just get rid of that. So now my Draining Whelk can once again attack, be free to go. And you know what? I didn't like that at all. So I'm going to use the Pentarch Ward on Draining Whelk, give him protection from blue. So now none of his 3/1 flyer can't block it, and to protect Draining Whelk from any more Narcolepsies, whatever tricks he may have. Now I'm going to go in and attack with that. I chose blue over something, say, red, because I don't figure since Draining Whelk is already a 5/6, he's not going to have enough red spells to deal 6 damage to it. So I felt a little bit better about that. Now I'll play my Saltfield Recluse, just to lower some power on some of his creatures, should it come to that. He plays the Ondu Giant, which allows him to search his library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield. He ends up getting a 2nd mountain. Yeah, so not a whole lot of options for him right now. He's very much in trouble. He's got 3 creatures on the field. I've got 4. I'm going to attack with just the Draining Whelk, because he can still block with his Eldrazi Sky Spawner, because he is technically colorless, so he's not... the protection from blue doesn't work against him. And I'll just pass it back. See if Caleb can do anything on his turn here. Plays the Frostwind Invoker, a 3/3 flying, and can spend 8 mana to give all of his creatures flying until end of turn. See, what sucks about that is that he can spend 8 mana to make the Ondu Giant flying until end of turn and give himself another defender. Not right now, though, since he doesn't have the mana for it, so I'm going to get him for 5. Which, if I was more aggressive, I could have swung with all. And then... nope, that would have worked. He would have blocked all of my ground creatures, and I would have lost them all. I played that right. So I'm just going to pass back to him. Nothing else that I really need to play. He plays another land, so he has 10 lands on the field right now. He can activate the Frostwind Invoker, which is enough to get the Ondu Giant flying, allowing him to block the Draining Whelk and buy him another turn. Unless I attack with everything. You can't stop all of them, can you? He cannot. And that's where the first game ends right there, thanks to that Draining Whelk. And that protection from blue absolutely turning the field. I wasn't doing great for the longest time, but man, those plays really turned it around. Let's go to game 2. Game 2 versus Caleb D, and my opening hand is serviceable. I have a mana of each color, and everything in my hand is cheap to play. I've got a turn 1 that I can play. I also got a turn 2 that I can play. And then should I draw into a land, I have a turn 3 that I can play. So I'm actually okay with this. I'm going to keep this hand. He starts off with Evolving Wilds and finds his mountain, because of course he does. Which just seems like he has a mountain just in his deck, just for that boulder, just to deal damage to a creature. I'm gonna get in with 1 right away with my Plated Sliver. Go with that Lumithread Field, so that all my creatures are gonna be just a little bit tougher to kill. And he plays the Reckless Scholar, a 2/1, and it can tap to make target player draw a card and discard a card. Very good card limited. That's going to be very powerful for him, allowing him to get rid of his garbage and find cards that he needs to try to win this match here. Attack the Plated Sliver, get another damage in there. And then I'll play the Blind Phantasm, who is currently a 2/4 thanks to the Lumithread Field. Nothing else special about him, but a 2/4 is a great defender. So he discarded, what is this? Feral Contest? +1/+1 counter target creature you control. Another target creature blocks this turn, if able. Yeah, it costs 4. Doesn't look like he's feeling very aggressive right now. Plays Narcolepsy, and then he's going to tap down my Blind Phantasm. Now, unfortunately for him, I also already have Piety Charm in my hand, so I could destroy that aura whenever I want. But he also only did it on the Blind Phantasm. I feel like there are worse targets he could put that on, and I could get better use out of it. So I'm keeping my options open. But at the end of his turn, since he didn't do anything else, then I'll use Piety to get rid of that Narcolepsy. So I keep the aggression up, get that 3 damage in there, which is exactly what I do here. Just whittling him down with small creatures. I'm a little worried at this point because he's got a lot of mana on his side of the field, and he kept his hand for a reason. And I got a feeling I'm going to see what that reason is very fast here. As he plays Adverse Conditions, allowing him to tap 2 target creatures, and they're not going to untap during the next untap step, and he gets an Eldrazi Scion for an extra mana, buying himself some time, stopping my aggression for a while. Plays at Halimar Depths again, looks at the top 3 cards, rearranges them, and then attacks for 3. Bring me down to 17, and then he plays Kozilek's Pathfinder. This is probably why he kept his hand. That is a 5/5. Now, you notice he had to sacrifice his Eldrazi Scion in order to play him, because he costs 6, and right now he has exactly 6 lands. So he did lose a creature out of it, which means I can try to set him back a little bit by casting Snapback, forcing Kozilek to return back to his hand, and saving me from having to deal with a 6/6 next turn. Now my hand isn't looking super exciting, as all I've got is this Sliver and Gift of Granite. Gift of Granite does make my creatures tougher, and I do like the fact that it has Flash, but it's not going to stop a 6 mana 5/5 creature. So interestingly, he plays the Horizon Drake instead. I guess he's looking more to get in there with flying. Still keeps up the aggression, comes back for 2, bring me down to 15, and suddenly we're looking a little more even. Merchant of Secrets is a great draw right here, because wouldn't mind a chump blocker, and being able to get that extra draw in there would be super useful. It's a Plains. Damn. Well, I'm going to try to get him back in there as aggressive as I can. I'm going to keep the Saltfield Recluse up, just so that I can reduce some of the damage coming back to me, and bring him down to 10. And sure enough, he comes in with his Drake, which I will weaken, so I'm only taking 1 damage here. I know I'm just buying myself some time right now, because he can easily play. Yep, he's coming back. There is Kozilek's Pathfinder. That 5/5 creature is back. Oh, and the perfect draw! I've got Tribal Golem, and wouldn't you know it, I've got a Human Wizard as well, so he's going to be a 4/4 flying. I will definitely play him. Boom. 4/5 flying. Flying thanks to the Wizard, +1 thanks to the Lumithread Field. Sadly, this is a Human Rebel Cleric and not a Soldier, so he doesn't have the first strike, but a 4/5 flying is nothing to scoff at. And I've got that Gift of Granite in my hand, which I will keep up to help protect my tribal golem should it come to that. I can't attack back right now because Kozilek's Pathfinder is very large and I can't get past him. It's not worth slinging creatures at him in just the hopes of getting like 2 damage in. He uses his Reckless Scholar to get rid of a forest and draw something useful. Does it again, getting rid of an island. And plays the Ondu Giant, allowing him to find another land to put it into the field, which was his second mountain. And then, sure enough, plays the Boulder Salvo, dealing 4 damage to the Saltfield Recluse. Killing the Saltfield Recluse. Now, I do like the Saltfield Recluse because I want that -2, -0 just to get rid of some of the damage, especially for something like, say, Kozilek's Pathfinder. Even just bringing that down to a 3/5 is much more manageable. So I am going to flash in Gift of Granite to give Saltfield Recluse +0, +2 to keep him alive, just barely, but still alive. And then Caleb passes back to me, does not attack. Oh, and I draw a Draining Whelk, which is beautiful. This makes it so if he tries to play anything that's a major threat, I'll be able to counter it and get myself another flying creature up online. I'm going to get aggressive here. He's at 10. I'm going to swing in the air for 4. He does not block, bringing him down to 6. And should he attack with Kozilek's Pathfinder, I've got plenty of options that I can chump block with. Plated Silver and Blind Phantasm being those. Or block the Blind Phantasm and use Saltfield Recluse to lower Kozilek's Pathfinder's damage and keep myself alive. Which is what he does here. So he attacks Kozilek and the Horizon Drake. So I am going to lower the damage of the Drake, so I'm only taking 1. And then I'm looking at taking 6 damage. I'm at 14. I feel like with having Draining Whelk ready to go, I'm actually doing okay, so I'm going to take this damage for now. And I figure if he had any kind of combat trick or anything, I can use Draining Whelk to counter it. I'm hoping he casts something big here. He casts Eldrazi Sky Spawner again, which gives him another flyer to protect himself with, and another Eldrazi Scion, which is just what I wanted. So I am going to spend that mana, cast the Draining Whelk, counter that, get Draining Whelk online. Let's try to show him around here for you. Which counters that and gets me another 4/5 flying. But then he plays Unnatural Aggression, which makes Kozilek's Pathfinder attack my Tribal Golem. Did not see this coming. So he actually just destroys my Tribal Golem, which makes me really sad. So now, because of that, I don't exactly have him dead to rights next turn. He's got a little bit of time left. But I did draw the Pentarch Ward, which allows me to give a creature a protection from color and draw another card. So I'm going to play that on the Blind Phantasm. We're going to give him protection from green. This is me getting aggressive right here. Oh, and the Dragon Scales! Oh, what a beautiful draw. A best top deck. Put that onto the Draining Whelk, bringing him up to a 5/7 Flying Vigilant. He's only got 2 creatures, 1 untapped land. All I gotta do is attack with everything, and he knows it. He concedes right here. Can't believe it, but I managed to defeat Caleb D, MTG, in the Battle of the Plains, and I managed to go 3-0 in Battle of the Plains. I was so excited and happy about that I had to share with you guys. So there you guys go. That was me playing some Magic the Gathering Online in the special event. Once again, shout outs to all my opponents, especially Caleb D. Excellent streamer. Can't stress that enough. And once again, if you guys enjoyed this stuff, please let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, hit that like button, etc. As always, thank you guys so very much for watching. See you next time!